Good morning. Happy Friday, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another unboxing episode. Content Hub, one of my favorite places in HubSpot. And we were so excited earlier this week on the morning show when we saw AI-powered video marketing platform literally the day after George B. Thomas asked for it. And so happy to have Ankur and Amanda here with us today to unbox this thing and see what we got. How are you guys doing?
We were doing
Good.
great.
Yeah, it's Friday. I'm in the beautiful state of Michigan right now, so
Oh yeah?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just sharing with Amanda. That's where I'm from. Where are you at in Michigan? Where are you at in Michigan, Ankur?
I'm in Dexter, Michigan. I'm about I don't know, 15, 20 minutes away from Ann Arbor. It's where I went to school and used to live afterwards. So it's been fun to kick it back here.
That's good. That's good. Well, thanks for joining today. You doing well, Amanda?
Yeah, I'm doing great. This is my last day in office before I go to Japan for 2 weeks. So I am really looking forward to that and looking forward to some hopefully better weather than I'm seeing in Boston over in Tokyo.
Well, yeah, it's can be pretty beautiful over there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I can't wait any longer to start digging into this. I've done a good job of waiting all week, I think. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So what does AI-powered video marketing platform even mean? For me, I'm looking forward to editability of videos. I was not expecting this at all. But at the same time, we're seeing a convergence of all of the video tools, anything related to video. There's clippability happening, there's editability happening, transcripting, like all of the things. Like, thank you, AI, for making that easier for everybody. Before I dive in, when did this become kind of real, or whatever you can share about what needed to happen for it to become real? How long have you guys been thinking about it? Like, tell me about that journey a little bit.
I can talk to that. I would say it started with Video Remix. For those who closely follow HubSpot's launches, Video Remix went into private beta at Inbound last year. And that was sort of the first iteration of video editing in HubSpot. And then we took the base that the Remix team had introduced and sort of decided to expand from there, both in the editing capabilities, which Amanda oversees and will speak more to, but then also just thinking about where marketing is heading. Like, if you believe the hype, there are some businesses losing 80% of their blog traffic. And that doesn't mean that like traditional long form content is dead, but it does mean that marketers can't afford to just stick to the blog or stick to the landing page. They need to adopt a more surround sound strategy and a multimedia strategy. And so when we looked at what we had in HubSpot, we had started to make some inches there. You know, we introduced podcasts last year, and that was sort of the first like multimedia content type that was available. But video is really where it's at. Like, you know, everyone's saying like we got to get on video. And so we wanted to make it as easy to get a video into HubSpot, edit it and polish it up to a T, and then distribute that in a performant way. And then after it's distributed, be able to measure it. And infusing AI along the way to just make all of those steps easier, if not automated. I think that's how I would sum it up.
Yeah, and to add on to what Ankur said too, like, because the barrier to like creating video for the first time can be intimidating, it can be so high. As we were talking with customers, we found that a lot of our users are doing things like webinars like we're doing right now, or they're doing live events or interviews. And so it made sense as a first iteration to figure out how we could help them take some of those longer form videos and repurpose them for short form video, which is up and coming. It's one of the content type preferences of Gen Z as more businesses are looking to market to them. It's seeing pretty high ROI. So that is sort of additional context for the origin of this.
Awesome. Yeah, I was hopeful that the video remix was a signal, because feels like there's so much that has to be happening in the background to be able to remix a video. And all of it relates to like clipping and editability and all this stuff. And if we're making it easier to do that, then we need more video storage and all this stuff. So seeing it, I just happened to have like video selected here, and like one of the fun parts of doing the morning show every day is you start to talk about all these things and they start to line up and you can see trends. So it's like increased video limits, then simplified. But even though, like, I don't know if it's just a different kind of thing we've never been able to do before, but like usually I can figure things out before it happens. But even though we saw these two, I was not expecting this part. Was it, I don't really have any good questions, so I should just dive in.
I think I know what you're saying, though. It's like usually you see the writing on the wall when you see like smaller announcements come out. And so like, how did this just like come out of nowhere?
Yeah.
And I think the best way to answer that is if you look at the way you interact with video in HubSpot today, it is a very small side panel in the files manager. And simply put, we didn't have the surface area to put a lot of these larger features. And so we were both building new features for video and building that surface area at the same time. And then once the surface area was ready to go, we slapped those features in there, and suddenly you have 3 or 4 features ready to go out of the box.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's like, thinking back on it, it caught me off guard just as much as Content Hub itself when that was launched. But it does feel like I mean, in other universes, this is probably a hub like by itself. The amount of yeah. And I've already, let's see, like, so now we unbox. So having forgotten everything that was in your wonderful video walkthrough, Ankur, my natural inclination is to come over to the nav, see if I see anything in here. I don't see anything, so I'm going to cheat and try the clip editor.
Okay, place to start.
Let's see, you go over here and find the right one. And it brings me to here. All right. So now I'm going to, and yeah, I could probably read, there's probably some really great directions that I'm just glossing over like a normal HubSpot user, I'd say. So I'm going to go to files and let's do wake up CP, because I've got some videos in there. I'm going to click on a video. Oh,
all right.
Ooh,
so right off the bat, brand new UI. And for folks who don't know, I am streaming on my phone. So I'm looking at a very small screen on my very small screen. So as I zoom in here, I see you're on the optimize tab, and that's the best part. That's the best place to start. There's so much new stuff here. What I would encourage you to do is just start hitting some of those pink breeze buttons, if you would humor me. Because like this is the first use of AI that we've built into video. Automatically, every video that's uploaded to HubSpot, we generate a transcript for. And if you know anything about large language models, they need language to run. So what we do is we take that transcript and we say, hey, pull out the keywords that we need. If you hit the description button as well, that's another nice one. Yeah. Generate a description and scroll down. I showed this in my video demo, but this one always gets me. It's chapters. So if you hit that chapter switch,
So what's going through my head right now is I'm going to be making some comparisons because I've also uploaded all the audio as podcasts and I've started loading it in.
Yeah.
And the challenge has been like right away. First of all, I can't do anything for this to be spelled right ever. So it's something I've just come to terms with, having to edit my last name. But also this is where the choice of tools comes into play. Like all this is coming from StreamYard, and I've chosen StreamYard personally because it's better for streaming. Surprise. Where I was on Riverside for most of, the 300 shows that I did last year, because there was always this intent to do the post-production. And it's like, oh, I could just press a button to do clips and then it'll be done. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. I still got to review all the clips. And but in Riverside, the transcripts are way better afterwards, whereas StreamYard is just one big block of text and all the transcript. So between the audio and the transcripts and the video, it's going to be, I'm interested in seeing like how that stuff gets processed.
Yeah.
Right?
So we use OpenAI's Whisper model to do speech to text. And so that is how we generate the transcripts on each upload. I'll say Amanda's team is always investigating different providers. And so, when something better and more reliable comes out, that's always something we're looking at. But right now it's OpenAI's speech to text, which is what I think is probably the industry standard for most of these players.
Okay. And that's the same. So if I upload the audio on the podcast or videos here, same thing?
Yes.
Cool. With the caveat of it's still being sent to AI, and there's a chance that the same, so there's a podcast version of this, which I'll check after to see how closely.
And the description will actually vary because we do use a different prompt when generating the video description.
Okay.
What we do for the video description is, video's tough. We don't know whether you're going to push this onto your website. We don't know if you're going to push it onto social. So the first 150 characters tend to be like the hero piece of this. Like that's your SEO performance piece. But then we want to give enough context so that if you push it into the social and you hit that optimize captions button that just released earlier today, that the social team has enough context as well to make sure that you're creating a performance post for LinkedIn or X or Facebook or whatever social network you might be using and distributing your video on. The one thing I want to call out is I really want you to hit that chapter switch. I'm like begging you to hit that chapter switch.
I know you are. One more thing before I hit it.
Yes.
I'm glad you pointed that out because right away this felt different. And it makes sense to me now that the use case is different, right? Like the podcast transcription is meant for a very specific thing. And to the point where I haven't really enjoyed it because my preference is what you just described. Like I'd rather have clay. Like if I'm not doing the prompt itself, like give me the clay so that I can work with it versus trying to like solve, the push button use case. And this has been, I'm super interested to see the results here because when you ask LLMs to do this, it doesn't go very well in terms of getting it right out of the gate. At least when it's often in a vacuum, like, hey, I just did the show, and sometimes it'll just decide to do the chapters for you.
So having not seen the show, I'm not able to comment, or having watched your show, but maybe not this particular episode, not able to comment necessarily on how good the chapters are, but hopefully they're pretty good. We've had some success. The one thing I want to call out also as you play this is you'll notice that the chapters are on the timeline. So if you're posting this on your website, those chapters will show up on this brand new like updated video player. Ooh, that's interesting. And if you're posting it on YouTube, alternatively, YouTube is the only social network that actually supports chapters. So if you're inserting this content onto YouTube, we will also preserve those chapters in the description box.
Yeah. And just to note, so new site speed dashboard features, blow this up. That's what we're talking about.
All right, they're pretty good.
I'm in love already. Like, this is amazing. Having that, oh wow, this is so good. This is the kind of thing that takes me from, I mean, I'm saying this out loud. We'll see if my ADHD allows for it eventually, but this is the kind of friction where when it's pre-clipped without doing the clips yet, versus when I do it on Riverside and just click the button and I get 8 clips that I have to kind of review in a vacuum, right? Like,
yeah.
Then I don't do it because now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to fix something. Right now I can preview what's about to happen, and seeing this timeline, that's really exciting.
Well, Amanda, do you want to talk a little bit about the clipping improvements? That lives in Remix, but it's probably worth mentioning here because chapters does play into that.
Yeah, so as Ankur mentioned, there is an entry point into video and clipping from Content Remix. This was introduced for Inbound last year. So if you upload a long form video, we'll generate a couple of suggested clips as a node in Content Remix. And like Ankur was saying, our team went through a few different iterations to try to improve those clipping prompts. We got some feedback after the initial launch that the clips weren't necessarily like capturing things that were relevant, or they were cutting off in strange places, like cutting off somebody in the middle of their sentence. And so what we did is we had some internal empathy sessions. We conducted several rounds and iterations of the prompt testing, and we improved the prompt to find more interesting clips than before. And one thing that we did to solve that issue with people's speech being cut off in the beginning or middle of a thought is we actually use these chapters, which Ankur was talking about. And so we find that if we cut somebody off for a clip, like pretty close to the end of a chapter, we'll extend that natural boundary to make sure that we are getting a clip that feels like a complete story.
Man, if you guys solve for that, which it looks here, like if I click on all these and there's no cutoffs or anything like that, that should be enough for anybody using these other tools, like to just stop using those tools. I can come over and do this, because that is definitely something I think most people have like learned how to deal with, right? But it's one of those like AI might not always give you the right answer kind of thing. It's like, okay, we know, I'll just be ready to clip it. If we've solved for that, that is very exciting to think about, for sure. Wow, hard to even move forward without trying to do some clips. So maybe I should just do that. Maybe we can talk about Content Remix. And okay, actions.
Oh, one thing before you jump to Remix, if I may, is do you mind just hitting that publish to social button? This never happened before. And when I started working on video, I was actually surprised this never happened before. But we've never pre-populated the social composer with all of that goodness that users input. So when they were like putting video like metadata in for SEO purposes, and they decided to share that video on social, all of that stuff had to be re-entered. Just one of those like friction points where you're like, why not? I just wanted to call that out. No need to linger on this page any longer. But let's jump to Remix, because I think the clipping and the editing improvements that Amanda's team has introduced are incredible, and I want to make sure that gets plenty of airtime.
I need a minute, because this is amazing. Like literally, the process is which I just want to show like the current state, right? Which is, okay, so this morning I had this show unboxing HubSpot MCP, foreshadowing some questions that I'll have at the end. And just go download, recording, audio only. I've just started doing audio only as I've started playing with the podcast tool, but then transcript. And that'll come down at some point. But then it's usually transcript over to Claude in the Claude project that is specific to that show. So it's not too many prompts. But if instead the video is going to end up in HubSpot anyways, and I can just do this from here, like that just cuts out a number of steps, like not just one or two. There's a number of steps. And that's where I think, like, adoption wise, if I can make the connection to say, oh, if I'm going to put the video there anyways, then now what else can we just do from here, instead of, like, it reduces my reliance on the tool that I've been enjoying, which is Claude, because now there's a bunch more value than just the one more thing I can do in HubSpot, which is very exciting, because this is like verbatim a post that I made almost, like having done all those steps that I just described. So, and now of course doing it in here, it's schedulable, and I can select which account, and always LinkedIn, right? Oh wow, this is so good. Okay, I'll just say that and exit out and come back to files. Okay. No, I wasn't going to jump into Remix. I was just seeing if I was going to happen to pick the clip that was about Remix.
I see.
Because I'm interested in what else is happening here. And
so, yeah, I can speak to performance, and then the clips tab has a lot of juicy stuff, and that ties in really nicely with the editor. Performance is exactly what you think it is. One of the most common, my approach to customer calls is, whenever I start a customer call, I ask the user, what do you hate about my app? So in this case, like, what do you hate about video? And
reporting every time.
You know it. So reporting was this huge pain point. We have the data. It's been in Custom Report Builder for, I don't know, 4, 5, however many years. But there's no easy way to build good reports. And knowing what a good report for video isn't always immediately apparent unless you like spend the time like researching and doing all this work. And so out of the box, there's a couple of things. For the first time ever, we're pulling social metrics in. And we're not just looking at social post views, because that's how social works. We're looking at video views in those social posts itself. So if you have an Instagram post with like 20 views, great. But if only 2 people are watching that video, we're counting those 2 views on this dashboard. And that was never readily apparent or visible to the end user before we built this dash. The other thing we're doing is with web analytics. So all of those out of the box dashboards, like retention, like cookied contact engagement, qualified views, which we count as someone who's watched 75% of the video. We're counting all of that as well and putting this in the dashboard. And for those web reports, you can add that to any custom dashboard that you have in HubSpot. And so that's what it is. Sometimes it's the simple things, but like reporting needed to be better.
Yeah, and as you started that, like, it's like I'm a marketer trying to do fun video stuff. Like, the last thing I want to do is go into the custom report builder to do stuff. So this is amazing. I mean, yeah. I'm just gonna keep enjoying this journey, if that's okay. Details.
Not a lot to talk about here. The only thing I will say is we want this experience that you're seeing today to be the experience that everybody opens whenever they select video. So part of that means making sure that all of those file specific functionality, like getting the URL, seeing where it's used, getting your file history, is accessible everywhere. Because this is going to be the de facto experience for video on HubSpot going forward.
That's awesome, for sure. And I remember this change we were excited about when it changed to default to advanced features off. Was there a specific reason it had to stay that way for a while? To defaulting on, because it was definitely a pain point for anybody that was using a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say the reason why it's been that way for a while is just, every year we reassess our priorities. And so this year video is the priority. So we're doing a lot of investment here. Cool. I would say from the data, it was very, many customers very quickly hit their limit and started to have to play limit management games. And that's just not fun and not how we want our users interacting with our product. This should be an afterthought at best. So that's why we changed this behavior. In addition to changing the behavior, so now that we only toggle advanced features now when you embed a video on content. So that's one change. The second change, which I know you're aware of, but I'll say to the audience, is if you're a Content Hub customer, we've increased the limits of videos. Beforehand, it was 50 for both Pro and Enterprise. We've increased it to 150 for Pro, 500 for Enterprise. And if you're a Service Hub, Marketing Hub, Content Hub, or CMS Hub customer, and you're purchasing those video add-ons, we've bumped up that add-on to go from 10 to 50 incremental videos.
Nice. Yes, I was very happy to hear that. And again, seeing all this happen together, was a good signal that video was going to be taken seriously and that experience was going to improve. But yeah, that's where if you dealt with videos, this is an important thing to know now. This pain point that we had has been solved for. But also if you didn't know and you're still using videos and something's not looking right, double check your advanced features. So over into clips now. Okay, so no clips found. That's okay. I haven't made any.
Yeah.
Luckily, I already went down
now,
here.
As we're seeing, if you want to generate clips, there are a couple of ways to do that. If you want us to automatically sort of try to find clips for you, you would do that through Content Remix. Though we are currently working on a project to have those clip suggestions generated for you automatically natively in this app without you having to go into Remix. So you have that to look forward to soon. And then another option, if you want to sort of review the entirety of the video and figure out what clips you want yourself, if you click clone and edit, then that will take you right into the editor. So between Remix or clone and edit, I'll have you pick your own adventure.
Yeah, this is the exciting. I think this is the unexpected part, probably most. I guess just because we haven't been doing anything, it made sense once the StreamYards of the world just started having editing capabilities out of nowhere, that were actually really good. And this is super exciting. And once you see the keywords, oh, you have a project and oh, okay, this is a real deal, video editor, which is probably interesting. It's probably very hard to do an in-between because you got to save, edits and create all this versioning while being able to store file sizes of videos. Thank you for solving this complex problem.
Happy that you're excited. Yeah, I'll let you sort of explore and maybe we can talk through some of the features that you see as you're navigating this new clip editor. When we were building this, we really wanted to make sure that it felt familiar. So when we expanded from the original Remix functionality, we actually rebuilt this on our content editor foundation. So it'll look similar to the blog content editors, landing pages, at least in terms of overall user experience and navigation. Yes.
Chrome didn't like that one. There we go. Okay. All right, stick with me, computer. Speaking of video editing, can use a lot of resources on the computer. So maybe I'll take care not to do too much in this window while I'm streaming and have all the stuff up.
Yeah. Let's say, Chris, you wanted to take, this is the full transcript from your entire video, and you wanted just the first section as a clip. If you go up and, yes, sort of select.
Oh, yes. Okay.
You will see that you now have the ability to trim out certain parts. We're working on actually improving this user experience so that when you highlight, you'll be able to select this as the clip or trim this. But as of right now, if you select something, you can trim it out of the clip. So you can go from a long form video to a short form video that might perform well as standalone on social media. And also you may have seen when you highlighted the edit word, this allows you to edit words in the transcript that might show up if you were to explore something like subtitles or captions.
How close are we to, like, if I know that my name's going to be spelled wrong in every single video, like letting HubSpot know that just to start solving stuff? That's probably farther away, but
yeah, that's a good piece of feedback. We could explore something like find and replace. We do actually in the upper left have this search because we know that with long videos, it can be annoying to try to find specific things in the transcript. So this can at least make it a little bit easier for you in the short term to find all of the misspelled instances of your name, but find and replace would be really interesting for us to add as well.
Awesome. This is jokingly one of our favorite topics on the show because it's got a lot of alliteration and it keeps showing up. So I'm going to clip it and try to find it. It's one thing, there's no punctuation anywhere. So a little hard to see where the breaks are, but I guess that's why I might want to do this. That could make it easier to clip. So, but apparently that stresses the system out. Okay, there we go. So we've got that. Oh, all right. Let's stop fumbling. Just do this real quick. So that trims it out.
Yes. So we are working on within the next week, we'll have an option to either trim out the selected or keep only the selected. So we'll have an easier user experience coming within just a few days. But yeah, right now, highlight to clip out.
All right. And crop is just the scene in general.
Yeah, so you see the drop down in the upper navigation there. You have the option to select the aspect ratio. So we can actually make it easy for you to clip even if you have like a webinar like we're doing right now and you want to share on social, you can clip it down to a social aspect ratio, or you can do a square ratio for like the Instagram grid.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep. And then fit to canvas. Let's say you wanted to clip to like a reel for TikTok type size. You could expand to fit. And then there's this new background option here that we added as well.
Okay. Just very cool.
Yeah, so you can customize the background color as well. So some of the other new things that we added, you will find if you explore the navigation icons that you see over there on the left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so these are some default styles for like some styles that we think will be pretty common that you can use to get started. And we give you a lot of flexibility for any of the default styles to change the font, the color, anything to match your specific branding.
Gotta keep it on brand.
Got to keep it on brand.
Love this. This is probably like, you couldn't ship this, I don't think, without this part.
Yeah. And if you actually see below the default styles, we have the ability to add custom styles. So you can just add your own custom style for your specific branding, and we'll save it in the clip editor for every time you use it in the future to make sure that your captions and videos are always on brand.
And are we connecting to our brand colors? We are. So that makes it easy. Probably should pick one that, and then save. Okay, not the best look, but now I get it, and now it's a custom style. So I don't have to do that every time.
Yes.
And I can position it like this, which is awesome. Okay, and then for some reason I'm hesitating to click this export button, so I'm not going to do it.
I may encourage you to click on those other two buttons if we
Yeah.
have any time.
Branding.
Yeah, so what you're looking at here is the ability to add logos or branding on top of the videos that you're creating in HubSpot. So if you wanted to add your company logo, you can upload it from here. You also have the ability to import it from your brand kit, and will allow you to position it on the video so that it's not blocking your content.
And now, okay, so just let me.
I think you have a black
out.
logo,
Yeah.
black
Yeah,
background.
this
So
might not be
Yeah.
showing.
I was just figuring out how to get back to this so that I can make
Oh,
this
yeah.
white. And then now the logo's there. Okay, that is super cool. And I think I probably like this, not making me drag it all around over here, so that it can be consistent every time. I'm curious on probably on the captions, a counter here would be good so that I could target the same number every time if it wasn't just all the way on the bottom or all the way on the top.
Yeah.
So that I could make sure it was consistent. Would be cool.
Mhm.
And then templates, save and apply caption branding and aspect ratio styling with one click.
Yes, so in the spirit of easy and fast and making it as easy as possible for you to clip down your videos, we have this ability to save presets for your captions, branding, and aspect ratio. So let's say you had a brand template for Instagram, you had a brand template for LinkedIn, you could save those and then quickly apply so that every time you create a video, you can have a running start.
There we go. So let's say I'm here. Let me say done here. Come over here and apply. All right. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
instead of exporting, I'm going to exit unless there's anything else you wanted to highlight.
Yeah, this is the start that we have now for clip editing. But the last thing that I want to say is that this is just the very beginning. We have a lot of additional features coming to editing in the future. We're looking at timeline editing, doing things like text and image overlays, being able to add multiple clips and audio trips and clips and transitions. So what you see here is just a start. There's a lot more goodness to come.
It's really exciting to think about, for sure. And then, of course, we can remix right from here.
Do you mind giving me a quick refresh on your screen, Chris?
Sure.
So beta software, but jump back to that clips tab if you would. So now what
Wow.
we've created in this clips tab is a management experience for all of your editor projects, your rendered clips, as well as if you are rendering a clip, you can track how far along that is, all on this tab. And this is one of the newer and arguably like more unique things coming from us as like a former content management system and now content marketing platform. I don't know many content management systems that have this concept of lineage, but it's something that we've built in. It's something we think is going to help declutter in the future. So you can quickly associate clips to their starting content or their parent content. It's a little nerdy to get excited about management, but here we are.
No, I mean, this project view, like, it's another place where there was, like, no matter how it's done in the other apps, there's always been friction. So seeing it, in a better way, which hopefully reduces the number of clicks and things we got to open up or tabs we have to have open, especially when it comes to video editing, that can be a drain on the system. This is really cool to see, for sure. Okay. We'll click here just in case anybody hasn't seen Remix yet. Audio file, let's get it all in here. Let's do social too.
We internally like to call this screen Quick Mix.
Quick Mix?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I don't know if they ever shipped that name, but that's how we refer to it internally.
Okay, without any prompts, we have some stuff showing up. Nailed it. That's exactly what our show looks like almost. And we've got clips here. Saving it. I mean, this is always my favorite part of Remix, like, and why I feel it's different and has value versus every other set of tools you might bring together, like the ability to remix it over here and then take it right into the app that is built for it. But let's see how well we did.
The screen may look familiar, but all of the content will be pre-trimmed around the suggested clip that we have. One quick hack is if you click on the clip tab next to full, then we'll hide all of the things that are crossed out.
Okay. So almost here, if I were to go back to full and say right here. So when it comes to choosing the right channel mix and getting started efficiently, they do effectively and efficiently. Yeah, so I'd probably take a few to just end on a sentence here. And I can't resist clicking this show pauses button, even though I know it's going to bog down the system at this point.
It certainly helps
yeah,
determining natural places where it makes sense to clip if there's gaps between sentences or words.
Yeah. So that's where I'd probably, without, I just want to like click here. So if I'm highlighting here and say just add to clip, and that easy.
That easy.
Okay.
Yeah. the clipping suggestions, as you can see, are still not perfect, but we're still continuously iterating on the prompts and trying to make the suggestions better. So as this product matures, the suggestions will only get better and better.
Indeed. AI will never be worse than it is right now.
That's right.
Yeah, and as I think it through, like having this, like there's been a lot of pressure on Remix, like to do just everything in there, like to get it right from there. Having this in play, where knowing that maybe I can put a little bit less emphasis on the remix side, knowing it's going to come in here, have easy editability, and then even to the templates part, is really fun to think about. And again, this is why you bring everything into HubSpot, because everything working together is just, and here I have my second clip. Still got content remix open. I like that. That's already saved, so I can just view an editor, go back in there. Man, be having some fun this weekend, for sure. But one thing I'm doing tomorrow that I need to ask before I let you guys go, is me and Nico are going to continue our journey having fun with HubSpot MCP.
That's exciting.
Any integrations on the Content Hub side of things that we should try to play with, or accessibility through the MCP?
Today, no. Heavy emphasis on the word today.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is something we were just talking about yesterday. So stay tuned for more information.
Yes, I will. I stay tuned every day. That's why we're on that thing every day.
Well, let me ask you, Chris, while I have you, what would you want to do in an MCP server with Content Hub?
Hard to say right now, but what we're going to try and do tomorrow is pretend we have no stack to start with and see how much of the business we can support with just LLM plus HubSpot plus Google Workspace. And obviously in my mind, if we talk about video, I'll have to support that in some way. And I'm probably going to be testing out some features over in the Google Workspace video, as far as just a recording mechanism. But yeah, I think that I'll know a lot more after tomorrow.
Sure.
But yeah, basically anything with an API, that we can open up via the private key. We'll be trying to build process from Claude, and being able to take in context from Google Workspace at the same time has already been really powerful for me. And it's, Sejal said the phrase this morning that I'm probably not going to be able to stop saying, but HubSpot everywhere is something really fun to think about. And yeah, we're going to see how far that can go tomorrow. So have you guys seen any use cases as far as a really tight combination of Content Hub and LLMs outside of, I guess, the content
we have seen
curation, repurposing?
Yeah, we've seen really interesting use cases using an MCP server to build websites. I think that has been one of the more exciting things, or build modules. Our lead, our GM, has been able to create some pretty impressive modules right off the bat. things like was it a calculator module, Amanda? Do you remember? That one was
I
really
think it was
impressive.
calculator
Yeah.
module. We've had people experiment with building HubSpot templates through like an MCP type interface as well. That's something that we're really interested in.
Yeah, that is definitely, there's nothing more bittersweet than watching Claude like build this amazing visual React module or React, and then not being able, as a non-developer, not being able to figure out how to get it like into a web page. So that's definitely something I look forward to being solved. But I already want like the calculator module.
It'll be really interesting. I think one of the cool things about the MCP server is, we also have Copilot naturally, and so it's sort of an extension of Copilot outside of HubSpot itself. So I think we're trying to be where the user is at the end of the day, whatever their point of use tool is, wherever their center of gravity is. Like, let's make it possible for them and small businesses to just do more with less wherever they want to.
And as you're interfacing with the MCP, you'll likely be able to interface with most of our public APIs. We do have public APIs for files, for like creating blog content, creating landing page, fetching landing page content. But the gap that you might see that we're hoping to fill in the near future is more public APIs for video, specifically for things like triggering transcription. Those are kind of areas that we still need to build out APIs for.
Wow, exciting times of abundance, let me tell you.
Yes.
So much value in the HubSpot portal now. Thank you guys so much for bringing us that value and for showing up today to help me unbox it.
Oh yeah, and if you have any feedback, you know how to reach us, but there's also that new tool where you can give feedback directly on betas. So
Yes.
you know how to find us.
Yes, indeed. Ankur, Amanda, thank you so much. Enjoy the trip to Japan, Amanda. Enjoy the rest of your time in Michigan, Ankur, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.